Hello everybody, Mr. Hulse again. I've been asked to very quickly sort of whiz bang through some biology, genetics, which is what I'm going to do now. So again, genetics, DNA in particular, is this chemical here, is what makes us who we are. I'm not going to go into too much into the structure of DNA. I will do a separate lesson on this, but there's a lot of key words in genetics. Basically has its own language almost, and you have to get to grips with these key words. It just makes the whole topic a lot easier, and then apply these terms to different genetic scenarios. You have to do Punnett squares, work out some probabilities, which links with maths. So really important. Also fantastic career geneticists, finding out where we get certain traits from. If I'm concentrating, I tend to do this with my tongue. And I know for a fact that my mum does the same. So that's genetic. You want to try out some other genetic things that you can probably do. I think with your tongue is one. If you've got hair on the top part of your fingers, again it's determined by your genetics. You've inherited these characteristics. Okay, so we're going to start off with these key terminologies. First of all, just keep this idea that DNA exists in every single one of your cells, and you've inherited half from mum, half from dad. You have 23 pairs, these things we call chromosomes. It used to confuse me when teachers would talk about chromosomes. I used to think it was something different. It wasn't DNA. It is DNA. There's so much DNA in your cells, it needs to be tightly packed, and it's tightly packed into these structures we call chromosomes, okay? So a chromosome is just tightly packed DNA. If you want to take some time just to make a note of that again, supplementary PowerPoint slides to back up these ideas. Tightly compacted DNA, where do your chromosomes exist? They exist in the nucleus of your cells. Again, your cells are eukaryotic. A lot of you are saying they're prokaryotic. Pro rhymes with no. Prokaryotic means no nucleus. Your DNA exists in the nucleus. Okay, we're not looking at bacteria here. And half from mum, half from dad, like I said. So these characteristics exist in the form of alleles. What do I mean by an allele? So an allele, I'll make a note of this. An allele is a different form of the same gene. What's a gene then? So let's say I got a gene for eye colour. And eye colour genetics is really complicated, but I'm going to make it really simple just for this, okay? Same gene, different form of the same gene. I want you to learn that, please. A gene is the characteristic, so the gene for eye colour, for instance. So if dad has blue eyes and mum has brown eyes, they are the gene for eye colour, but they're different types of the same gene because the eye colour is different. So we call them alleles, okay? The allele for blue eyes, the allele for brown eyes, okay? Different forms of the same gene. Okay, phenotype. What does that mean? Phenotype is the characteristic you see as a result of the genetics. So my phenotype is blue eyes, for instance. Okay, so it's the characteristic that you see. The genotype, they're the genes responsible for that characteristic, okay? In this case, I'm going to say alleles. Remember, an allele is just a different form of the same gene. Homozygous. Homo means two of the same. So if you have two of the same, and again, you will know this, we've been through this, we represent dominant and recessive. I'm going to start here first. So for instance, dominant will be big B or big C. We represent it with a capital letter. Recessive is the opposite. So a dominant allele will always dominate or be expressed over a recessive allele, okay? It will always take preference. So homozygous could be you have two of the same, so you could have two little b's or two big B's. So you have a pair of alleles, because remember, this one's from mum, this one's from dad, mum, dad, that are the same, okay? Heterozygous means one of each. So you can only have big B, little b. And we always write the capital first, okay? We just tend not to do that. We like to do that. Makes things a bit simpler, alright? So I'm going to go through a very quick example. I'll use a recessive condition, so we'll go with cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a recessive condition, which means you can only inherit it, or you can only have cystic fibrosis if you have two alleles, okay? So we say you're homozygous recessive in this case, alright? So I'm just going to very quickly show you. I'm going to use a Punnett square to explore this as well. If I have a father that is heterozygous dominant for cystic fibrosis, heterozygous, hetero means one of each, big C, little c has to be his genotype, okay? So the genes that are expressed for this. And let's say mum is homozygous recessive. So in other words, mum has cystic fibrosis because it's one of each. So what's the probability that the offspring, the children, will have the disease? Punnett square time. So again, big C, little c, little c, little c. So they come from that. Big C, little c, and you do your cross. So remember when I said the capital always comes first? So this will be big C, little c, little c, little c, big C, little c, little c, little c. The ones that I'm underlining are the children with it. So there's a 50% chance that their child will have cystic fibrosis. There's a 50% chance as well this big C basically means that their offspring are carriers. So their phenotype will not be cystic fibrosis. They won't have the disease, but they will be carrying one of the alleles for the disease. But you can only get the disease when, or the condition, when you have homozygous recessive genotypes. Okay, you can do some more research again onto what the condition is. There's different types. You've got Huntington's, you can look for that. Polydactyl, that's an interesting one where you're born with an extra digit. Cystic fibrosis as well. Okay, so a bit of biology for you there. Hope that helps. Thank you, everybody.